Good morning, classmates.
Good morning!
Now, we will continue the topic or the discussion about the Kodaly Method. Let us proceed to the sequential learning. Everybody please read.
What is the correct sequence of learning the Kodaly Method? Although the Kodaly Method follows a set sequence, the materials used in teaching musical concepts varies depending on the age of the students. The sequence followed may be simplified as listen, sing, understand, read, and write, create.
So, we know naman diba that music is broad because it has a lot of elements na ginagamit. So, that is why it is important na when we teach music as a music teacher, we should start from the basic to complex. So, for example, the sequence followed may be simplified as to listen. So, in the listening, the purpose of the listening, diba, listening is one of the 5 macro skills in as a 5 macro skills. So, diba, we often heard that from our, yung bata pa tayo, kung ano yung naririnig natin, yun din yung sinasabi natin, yun din yung ini-imitate natin. So, in listening, the starting point to expose students to musical elements, styles, and structures. So, dito na malalaman ng bata or ma-expose yung bata sa music, and it cultivates aural skills, helping students recognize pitch, rhythm, dynamics, and others. So, through listening, malalaman ng bata kung hanggang kung saan yung pulse ng isang kanta, kung mabilis ba ito or mabilis or mahina lang yung rhythm niya ba. So, next is we have the singing. So, diba, yun yung sinasabi ko kanina na kapag narinig na natin yung kanta or ang student yung kanta, they can sing it na tapos yun, piniperform na nila kung ano yung naririnig nila. So, diba, commonly, ginagamit din natin doon na we just can't sing it alone without hearing it first. Kasi diba, kung kakantayin lang natin ito agad-agad, hindi natin alam kung ano yung tono, hindi natin alam kung ano yung lyrics. So, dapat talaga may process or may pagkasunod-sunod para mas maintindihan talaga natin kung ano yung music. And the third one is to understand. So, of course, once we listen and once we sing it, we must understand the lyrics all about. Kasi diba, we cannot teach music or a certain song to the students if it is not appropriate to their age. Malay ba natin na yung pinapakanta pala natin sa ating mga students is mayroong mga offensive words. So, dapat talaga siya nakabase sa age or sa edad ng bata. Next is to read and write. So, after understanding, learn to read and write the music notes. So, reading and writing let you put the music in paper and understand it even more. So, diba, alam na natin kung paano makinig, alam na natin kung paano yun, kung ano ang tono, kung hanggang saan yung posing niya or yung mabilis ba dito na part or mahina. So, kakantahin na natin kung ano yung kanta, kung ano yung narinig natin at diba understand na natin or naintindihan na natin yung lyrics. So, therefore, we can use the read and write. Diba, isa din ito, the read and write is one of the 5 macro skills. So, using this one, mas maintindihan natin ang isang music kapag isulat natin to kung, diba, merong mga nota, ito. Diba yung mga nota, alam natin kung saan yung mababa yung tono at hanggang saan yung rising at saan yung mababa. So, in this way, in sequential learning, kailangan talaga na isulat natin at basahin yung isang kanta para mas maintindihan natin na dito pala yung part na itataas natin yung voice at dito yung part na ibababa natin. So, the last one is to create. So, once we know the listening, the singing, understanding, and read and write, so we will be able, we can create our own song. So, dito, the students can use what we have learned to make their own music. In creating, it allows students to express themselves and be a part of making music, di ba? One of the composer here in our classroom is Cedric, right?
Yes.
She was the one, she is the one who create or who composed yung sa musical play natin, sa sweet play natin. So, Cedric, I just thought Cedric integrates this listening, sing, understand, read, and write to compose a song. Kasi wala naman siya dito. So, maybe she integrate this one to create a song. And diba, maganda yung na-compose niya na song. And it is really expressive na kung saan nakikita natin kung ano yung feeling ng bata, kung ano yung ipinapahiwatig ng isang bata. So, for an instance, diba yung sa sweet play na music na nyo is ano yung title? Basta yung sa sweet play, yung present natin at yung ipapresent nila. So diba, from the beginning, masaya yung kanta, yung context ng kanta masaya. Then at the end of the music, yun na, yung na-preso na, ay yung na-impreso na si Jeffrey. So nagiging sad siya. So that is why talaga na we need to listen, to sing, to understand the music more para mas ma-express talaga natin yung anong feeling natin para mas ma-connect sa ating mga emotions. The next one is, this is still the continuation. Everybody please read.
The Kodaly Method follows a sequential learning process that breaks down the learning of music into a series of concepts or components. The process follows the natural developmental pattern used in learning a language, which is aural, written, and then read. The method teaches this here melodic and rhythmic concepts and skills first, and builds on the student's musical knowledge. The materials used in teaching musical concepts vary depending on the age of the student.
So, yeah, sequential learning process that breaks down the learning of music into a series of concepts or components. Ito yung sinasabi ko kanina na we should teach the students, especially that we are dealing in elementary pupils, diba? So, we should teach from basic to a more complex. So, the process follows the natural development pattern used in learning a language, which is oral, written, and then read. So, dito naman, we are just like learning a new language na kung saan it is similar to how we learn a language. We hear it, then we learn to write and read. So,
class.
Good morning, classmates.
Good morning.
Now let's proceed to the number 3. Movement games. Please read, everyone.
Movement games are a great way to teach students about tempo and dynamics. For example, you can use games like free dance or musical chairs to teach students about tempo and dynamics.
So, the next activity about games is all about movement and games. We all know that tempo is all about sa tungkol siya sa bilis, merong umahina ba or malakas. So, in movement games, we can integrate the activity including musical chairs, freeze dance, pwede rin itong the learners are going to walk faster and slower. For example, please come here, Mr. Nagadas and Kapili.
Mag-freeze dance daw. Ako yung nakalas. Mag-freeze dance. Ayun sila.
So this is the example of movement games. So in tempo, pwede natin itong gawin na activity. For example, kagadas is mag-walk ka ng faster. Please walk faster. And Mr. Kapili,
Susunod na yun.
Faster ka kada.
Di pa, dito pre. Ako pastor ko, ikaw hinay.
faster ka ikaw slower. 1, 2, 3, go! Babalik.
Balik.
Dahil man siguro na slow mo slowly.
Okay,
Thank you.
By that activities, na-include na natin yung movement games kasi merong movement na ginagawa ng isang estudyante. Diba? Hindi na tayo mahihirapan sa pagtuturo ng tempo. Diba? Kasi the Kodaly Method implemented katulad ng sinabi ni Orbeta na start with simple to complex. So pagtuturo ng music, pagsisimula talaga sa basic to complex. So, by that activities through movement games, malalaman na isang estudyante na ang tempo ganito pala. Diba? Movement games are a great way to teach students about tempo and dynamics. So, by that, malalaman ng isang estudyante through games. We all know that through games, learners are actively engaging. Diba? So number 4, ang number 4 hindi na-include dito. Ang number 4 is listening games. Diba? Listening games are using our hearing or the oral training. So after this, we are tackle about oral. So in listening games, for example, the teacher are going to play solfege. Diba solfege then do, re, mi, fa, so, and using keyboard, the teacher are going to play K of C. Then the learners, makikinig sila at i-identify nila kung anong K yun. Diba yung C, D, at saka A. Those are the examples of listening games. Now let's proceed to number 5, instrument games. Please read, everyone.
Instrument games are a fun way to teach students about different instruments and their sounds. For example, you can use games like instrument bingo or name that instrument to teach students about different instruments.
So in teaching instruments naman, these games is pwedeng ma-integrate yung bingo games kasi hindi naman lahat ng estudyante alam yung instrument, di ba? In order to teach instruments sa learners para mapadala sa kanila na malaman na ito pala ang guitar, keyboard, drum, bass, di ba? Through bingo games, di ba? Bingo games, maka-create ang student ng diba, scramble words, maka-create ang estudyante, ma-fix niya yung word, ma-identify niya kung ano yung na instrument. For example, yung ba gitara, bass, drum, di ba? Through these games, mas mapadali sa sa estudyante na malaman kung ano yung instrument na yun, di ba? Kaysa na gusto natin na i-discuss kung ano yung instrument din is kuan, di ba? Para sa estudyante, mahirap kasi hindi naman lahat ng learners ay madaling maka-catch up at maka-intindi, di ba? So in general, these games activities are just a few examples of how Kodaly Method can be used to teach music. Diba? Kodaly Method, gumamit sila ng different games in order to catch the attention of the learners. Diba? Kasi mga bata, hilig talaga yung paglalaro. Kaya, si Kodaly Method, ina-apply yung games sa pagtuturo ng music. Kasi bored naman talaga yung music. Hindi naman lahat ng estudyante ay gusto yung music. Gusto kumanta, gusto mag-play, di ba? So, the Kodaly methods apply those games, the 5 different games para sa pagtuturo ng music. So, what are those 5?
Moving games, listening games, reading games, writing games, singing games, movement games, listening games, and instrument games.
Okay, those are reading games, singing games, movement games,
listening games, and instrument games.
Okay, now let's proceed to the last key components of Kodaly Method, the oral training. Please read everyone.
The Kodaly Method is a music education system that emphasizes the importance of oral training in developing musical skills and concepts, particularly in children. The method aims to develop the inner ear and ability to hear music in one's head, which is essential for musical development. The Kodaly Method uses a variety of techniques such as singing, playing games, exploration, and discovery to teach musical concepts sequentially. It also uses solfeging, the do-re-mi system, and hand signs to teach speech and rhythm.
So the oral training is the most important because oral training uses of inner ear. Diba? How oral training is important. For example, in giving instruction to the learners about sa games, kung anong games ang gagawin. Diba? Importante talaga yung oral training, yung pakikinig, inner ear ng estudyante upang malaman niya kung ano ang kanilang gagawin. Not only for the learners but also for the teachers. Diba? Katulad nga ng sinasabi ni Sir na ang oral training or oral skills ay importante talaga sa pagtuturo ng music because we cannot teach kapag hindi natin alam. Diba? For example, nakikinig tayo kung ano yung tono na yun, tapos wala tayong oral skills kasi wala tayong oral training, paano natin malaman kung anong chord yun, kung anong key yun, diba? So, oral training is most important. Maraming games na sinabi kanina na pwedeng i-apply ang oral training. Nasabi na kaya yung oral skills. At saka ito ay yung number 4, the listening game. So oral training it also uses solfeggio, the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, diba? Fa, sol, la. Katulad ng sinabi ko kanina, if the teacher are going to play in keyboard, example, the key of C, end with C. So the learners are going to identify through inner ear, sa tulad ng pakikinig. Mostly, yung mga composers before, mga musicians before, ay mas magagaling sila compare sa ngayon. Dahil before, through mag-tune sila ng gitara or different instruments using their ear. Kumpara sa ngayon, di ba? Technology naman. Kaya naman, mas magaling yung musicians before kasi di ba, they are using their inner ear. Kumbaga, hindi sila gumagamit ng technology kumpara ngayon, kaya mas magaling yung mga musicians before. Meron tayong tinatawag na pag narinig nila yung kanta, madali lang nilang gayahin through zebra. Diba? Zebra lang nila ang gagawin. So, through listening lang. Alam na nila agad na, ito ay C, key of C. Through listening lang. Ito, ganito ka-importante ang oral skills or oral training. Kung magtuturo ng music, kahit hindi natin yung gusto yung music, music. Since magtuturo tayo ng music, importante talaga na meron tayong oral training. Oral training and oral skills. So, in general, the Kodaly method use different games and activities in order to catch the attention of the learners. And also, the Kodaly method start with simple to complex. Kumbaga, magsisimula sa basic patungo sa complex or sa mahirap. Magsisimula ang pagtuturo ng music, use the Kodaly method, magsimula sa through games, ituturo kung ano yung mga characteristic ng mga instruments, kung anong subject ang turo mo sa music. Mag-start talaga sa basic through games lang, palaro-laro lang. At saka, hindi naman namin nag-jump na nakalearn pala siya through games. And that's all for our report about the Kodaly method. Do you have any questions? Clarifications?